So I'm really excited to share Illustrator on the iPad with all of you today. One of my favorite features is the pencil here in Illustrator. Now, the pencil allows me to draw on the screen using sort of imprecise gestures to make really beautiful lines. Now, under the hood, if I decide I don't like part of this, I can double tap, go into direct selection mode, and I have access to all of the underlying handles. So I have a ton of control here, just like I would on the desktop. Now, for this curve that isn't quite smooth, I can select the point and use our new Smart Delete function that will delete that point without transforming the curve. It looks really beautiful. I can also move this point along a curve using my touch modifier. So exact positioning of points without distorting my curves. And finally, if I select all of the points, if I go into Simplify Path, it'll just remove any extraneous points that I don't need. If I select these three shapes and I go into my Pathfinder, you'll notice for the first time we have live previews in Pathfinder, so I never have to guess what. And so Shape Builder allows me to create shapes just by tapping to delete parts of the shape that I don't want. Now, if I want to combine shapes, I can just draw lines between the existing shapes, and very quickly I can create a logo out of these existing paths.
So you can see I have this grid, it's perfect, it's ready to go, and that's not it. I can literally go in and get this exactly where I want it, did that in a second, and now I can focus on making this my own. So in the properties, there's the grid type menu, and there's a ton of different arrangements here that I can get. Now I have this really cool radial design, and there's so much power with this. I'm using my Apple Pencil here, and all of the formations are endless. You can literally swivel this around and come up with any possibility. So I'm really excited to show you an existing feature that's been reimagined in redesign, and that is recolor artwork. Recolor artwork has been the easiest way for you to explore with color variations. Now, in the new recolor panel, you can see all of my colors from my illustration are here below, and I can go into this color picker and just start making changes instantly. This time, I'm going to use the color theme picker, and I'm going to go ahead and start exploring with some of these references. So I'll click this image, the vector, and you can see that it's extracting all of those colors and recoloring my design. So once I hold down, I get this little lasso tool. I'm just going to select the 3 colors out of this image, and it's recolored the entire image based off of that selection.
We're working hard to turn Creative Cloud into your creative system. A creative system that brings all of these teams together and enables seamless collaboration. To understand what this means, let's look at a quick example. You've got a new campaign that launches in a week, running everywhere. For inspiration, your whole team curates a set of colors, fonts, and images, perhaps from a Behance mood board. You put together a Creative Cloud team library, and everybody starts collecting the assets you'll need: icons, graphics, brushes, components. A day later, the brand team tweaks one of the logos, as they do, but that's okay, because everyone gets the new asset updated automatically in their library and in any document where they used that asset. Talk about a sanity saver. Okay, you've wrapped up a document in Illustrator, but you want input from others, so you invite them to review and leave feedback. And soon you'll be able to invite designers and copywriters to edit right in your document as well. Once you're happy with what you've created, you share the cloud document with your colleagues and partner agencies so they can use your work to build other parts of the project. All right, the core assets are done, but every successful campaign needs great social media. And the social media team aren't creative professionals. No problem. We've integrated libraries into Spark so that the marketing team can create awesome social posts that include all the same assets. If you take a step back, it's pretty cool and a big sigh of relief. Everything is now connected, from your apps and documents to every type of asset you'll ever need across all of the people you work with. That is the power of a creative system at work.
We've got a subject with fur or hair. So what I'm going to do is just go into Refine Edge. I'm just going to go ahead and turn on a little Smart Radius and increase my edge detection. We can already start to see the edges come through. But we're going to use the Apple Pencil and the Refine Edge brush, and we're just going to come in, and like magic, Photoshop starts to reveal what those edges should look like. And now we have it with the brand new View Pattern Preview. I see what my pattern is going to look like already as I scale these two geometric shapes. It scales them proportionally, and I see it in real time. In Photoshop, we now have sky replacement. So when I go up to my edit menu and choose sky replacement, it can either use the skies that come with Photoshop, or you can import your own. More importantly, what if I change the time of day? What if I go in and choose a sunrise or sunset scene? And when I do that, it not only replaces the sky, but it also has to figure out how to darken the foreground and color balance the foreground to match the sky. And it does that all in one click.
We have one more amazing piece of brand new Photoshop magic launching today. We're taking filter technology to the next level. Authenticity Initiative. The goals of this initiative are twofold: to provide information about how a piece of content has been changed so that people can judge for themselves whether to trust it, and to ensure that creative artists get credit for the work that they do.
The internet is our great connector, but misinformation threatens to split us apart. So we're building a new digital standard to help. When a photojournalist captures an image, they can choose to preserve its key facts, like who shot it, where they were, and when it happened. Then, when the image appears on screens all around the world, its history moves with it. And if anything was changed along the way, everyone can see. We're starting with images, but the standard will embrace all content. It's an ambitious initiative, but our goal is simple. Less misunderstanding, more trust. Fewer divisions, more bridges. Instead of the internet becoming a place of doubt and uncertainty, we can help keep it a place built on strong connections, where great ideas can thrive, where we can all move forward together.
Soon, we're releasing that technology as a private beta within Photoshop, and any attribution data that people add to their images will be viewable by everyone on Behance and through contentauthenticity.org.
Well, that's where a new feature called versions comes in. Versions allow us to have multiple treatments of our file traveling with the edits themselves. So we're going to come in here to our selective edits, and since I'm on the iPad Pro, I'm going to use Apple Pencil, and I'm simply going to paint in the area that I want to adjust. I see that I have access to all of my colors, and so I can change that dramatically and selectively. With color grading, I can move between the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights. So let's start with the shadows, and this is the forest floor here. I'm going to make that sort of a bluish green and darker. Next, we're going to come to the midtones, where I'm not going to change the color, but I am going to change the luminance. I'm going to make that fog pop by making it just a little bit darker. And I want that to be a nice warm tone. So let's take a look at that before, sort of soft and muddy, and after, really nicely balanced, beautiful, and colorful.
Charcoals were the #1 medium that people wanted us to add to the app, and I'm so glad that they are now here. I've got a charcoal pencil here. I'm just going to make a few nice marks, and I want you to see how perfect that texture is. Looks just like the real deal. But that's only one tool. We have 7 charcoals in all for you, ranging from a nice buttery vine charcoal that looks like that to a really gritty one as well. And are you ready for this, folks? I'm gonna smudge that. Perfecto, look at that. We now have smudging in Fresco, which means you can use any pixel brush to smudge. All of this was done with that charcoal brush as well. So I can use millions of colors with it to make perfect colored pencils just like this. So now I'm gonna just add a little bit of color here to the trousers, and that looks fantastic. The MultiColor Eyedropper is a revolutionary new tool we have in Fresco that allows you to put multiple colors on your brush anytime you want. If I hold down the touch modifier and then touch anywhere else on the canvas, I'm able to select all those colors at once. They magically jump onto my brush, and not just any brush, but I'm now painting with the watercolor. So watch all that beautiful color blend together and flow together, just like real watercolors. These are those famous Fresco watercolors you love. But with multicolor, what I can do is just hide that monkey for a second, hold down the touch modifier, and then grab this leaf that I painted. Now I'm gonna bring that monkey back, and now when I paint, I have vines for him to swing from, just like that.
And instead of using flat color, I'm gonna turn this into a mask. So now that I've done that, it's really easy to use different colors and different brushes all inside of that same shape. So I'm just throwing these in, totally ignoring those boundary lines I was being so careful with earlier. And now I'm going to activate vector trimming using the touch shortcut and just cross out all that overage that I don't want.
And I'm going to turn them into a group. And then in the property inspector, I'm going to turn on this new stack control. And that simple change is going to allow me to now grab any of these cards and to rearrange them dynamically. Let's use smart padding. I just need to turn on this padding feature here on the left side. And what I'm going to do is punch in a value of 40 for the padding, and what's going to happen is that the card is going to readjust itself. Turn on this 3D transforms control on the right side here, and it reveals this new widget. We call this the gizmo, and this allows you to control the X space, the Y space, even the Z space, and actually put this into a dimensional view. You can see this stack of cards. I can actually flip through them and pull one of them out, and then even flip it around so we can see the backside of the card and then turn it around again and drop it right back into that stack.
I'm simply going to select all of my images down on the timeline and go up to the new Effects panel and choose Pan and Zoom. And when I do that, Sensei will automatically analyze the images, analyze the region of interest, and automatically create dynamic, beautiful camera movement, really bringing these images to life with a single click. Let's go ahead and enable Auto Reframe, and once again, powered by Adobe Sensei, it will analyze the region of interest and automatically place that dog right in the center of the vertical frame. If I simply right-click here, I can choose Scene Edit Detection. And once again, leveraging the power of Adobe Sensei, it will analyze this clip and automatically apply a cut at each detected cut point. You can see that I can easily move between all the cuts here with my arrow keys, and when I find one that needs a bit of tweaking, I can go into the Lumetri Color panel and adjust things like saturation or contrast or vibrance, making it exactly the way that I want. But creating captions has traditionally required a lot of effort and time. With speech to text, we've made it easy. Here, we're going to go into the Transcript tab. We're going to click on Transcribe. Now, when I do that, all I have to do is choose the language of my video, click Transcribe. It's automatically going to upload that video and analyze it, and it's going to return to us a fully time-coded transcript of everything spoken in that video. Well, you'll notice that we have a button in here called Create Captions. And when I click on that, it will automatically transform that transcript into fully editable captions with this new captions track that you'll see inside of the Premiere Pro timeline. So here we have a very basic 3D scene, and I'm going to start by clicking on this front mountain layer. And when I do that, you're going to see something new. It's our new Universal Transform gizmo that makes manipulation easier, more intuitive, modern, and real time. You can rotate and move on all axes. We even give you dimensional guides that provide detailed feedback so you can make pixel-perfect changes right on screen. We've reimagined the pan, orbit, and dolly controls, and the new default camera makes it so much easier to begin navigating around 3D space. There's even new hotkeys for all of this. But really, at the end of the day, it all comes to the playback, and the playback is being driven by a new, modern, gaming-style engine that enables 3D layers to perform in real time, all on the GPU.